now,
right.
drawing a blank. Horrible.
Right.
We'll come back shameful. The Joker, man.
Right, exactly. There you go. So anyway, we're going to move on to number 4. I got the Lakers coming in at number 4. Okay. I like that team. Clearly LeBron was there last year and they didn't make the playoffs, which marks 2010 was, I think, the last time he didn't make the finals. Not the playoffs, but the finals. So because of the LeBron factor, you got players coming in. You got Anthony Davis. You got Dwight Howard. DeMarcus Cousins, which we already know is injured. Danny Green, Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook. These were all guys that, especially Cook. Cook was he made a lot of moves.
That's a nice pickup. Local guy too, man. Right, DMV.
But think about it. When LeBron wins, what does he have? It's LeBron with one other superstar and a bunch of shooters around him. Quinn Cook, he's one of them shooters. So that's definitely a good one right there. You're talking about the Lakers, man. I mean, it's just Anthony Davis and LeBron James. What else? I mean, what else is there? I mean, they lost Ingram, Ball, Lance Stevenson. They lost a lot from last year, but what did those guys really accomplish with LeBron? Nothing. I mean, they finished 10th in the Western Conference last year, and LeBron missed I think 25 games, I think.
Yeah, that groin injury was devastating.
Right, which is the first time. So now with Anthony Davis, which that's my other dark horse MVP this year, if it's not going to be Steph Curry, because Anthony Davis could, if the Lakers get the top 2 or 3, and they do really well, I mean, Anthony Davis is going to be a big-time MVP candidate. I say number 5, but I really mean number 4 because they're really a tie for me, and that's the Los Angeles Clippers. I think the Clippers and the Lakers are those two teams where we know what the Clippers did last year making the playoffs. They finished 8th, but Kawhi Leonard just came off a championship win.
Yeah.
Paul George, what he did, out there in OKC. I mean, those are 2 big signings for that Clippers organization.
Just culture changing for real.
Totally culture changing. So they did lose Shea Gilgeous Alexander. Try saying that 10 times. That doesn't work very well. But, they added Paul George, like I said, Kawhi Leonard, and Patrick Patterson as well. So that's a team that they finished 8th last year, but we talked about them a lot. They were number 1 in the Western Conference earlier in the year last year. So, or not even in the Western Conference, yeah. But, so next we got the Blazers. I like what the Blazers did. There's been some injuries, but, Nurkic, we don't know when he's going to come back. Whiteside was a great pickup. Right now he's nursing an ankle injury. So right now you've got a guy out of UCLA. Moses Brown, starting center. So they lost a lot. Moses Brown, right? It's crazy.
Who?
I had to look him up because I'm like, so if Whiteside's not starting, Nurkic isn't starting, who the heck is? So I had to look it up and see who was left. But you look at some of the players that they lost, and that's why going from 3rd last year, I have them all the way down to 6th. They lost Seth Curry, Evan Turner, Al-Farouq Aminu, Maurice Harkless, Miles Leonard, Enes Kanter. Those are guys that they provided a lot for that team. Enes Kanter last year?
Yeah.
Jeez,
huge pickup for
those
guys. Yeah.
So
they can't deny that.
Right. So losing him, I mean, they got Kent Bazemore, Mario Hezonja, who I really like. I think he can score. He's just got to continue to, get his game going. Paul Gasol and Hassan Whiteside. So I think that they're going to come down just because of all the players that they lost, but they still got Damian Lillard, so they're still going to be okay. At number 7, I got the Jazz. They finished last year. They did lose Ricky Rubio, Kyle Korver, Derek Favors. But, hey, Mike Conley, Emmanuel Mudiay, Jeff Green, a guy that we both love. Boban Bogdanovic.
Bobo.
Right, Bobo. There you go. So I think the Jazz are going to be okay. They're not going to be necessarily the team that they were last year, but they're still going to be decent. And then to end it, you cannot have a top 8 without the Spurs in it, man. Like they just
I agree.
They just never go away.
Yep.
Every time you think that they're gone, Popovich brings them back. They didn't really lose anybody last year, but they did add DeMarre Carroll, Trey Lyles, who I like. DeJounte Murray is coming back after missing last year. Came back later, came back at the end of the season last year, but that guy's going to be good. Derek White, LaMarcus Aldridge,
LaMarcus Aldridge is so old,
right?
And is so damn good still.
DeMar DeRozan. I mean, they just got guys, man. I mean, they just got guys that come in, they fill these roles, and Popovich just gets them to play Nobody saw Derek White really until last year. I mean, yeah, he was decent, but I didn't see him being nearly as good as he ended up being. So, I mean, right now, San Antonio, they're there, but I'm telling you right now, the Pelicans, if they can get that roster playing up to their potential, I think, and Dallas as well, are two teams that I think could sneak into that 8th spot moving into the final of the season.
Okay, interesting. Man, this is going to be a fun show and a fun podcast, fun debate, because our top 8 couldn't be any more different. Hey. Which is awesome, because we don't... The most boring shows when it's like, I have the same thing, I have the same thing. So variety is the spice of life. So, man, I'm going to get right into my top 8 for the Western Conference. Coming in at number 1 for me, I'm on the bandwagon, I'm jumping on. I got the LA Clippers at number 1. There's too much firepower, man. Paul George, I'm hoping, is healthy. Kawhi Leonard, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell. There's so much firepower. And then defense is going to be legit. Like, there's no reason why this can't be one of the top 3 defenses in the NBA when you got Paul George on the outside locking down the perimeter. Oh, yeah, you also have Pat Beverly. Oh, yeah, you also have Kawhi Leonard. Driving the ball against the team is going to be super tough. So I got the Clippers coming in at number 1. Number 2, LA Lakers, for the reasons you mentioned. LeBron James, Anthony Davis combination. What are you going to do? Some of the questions I have for the Lakers, though, what does Rajon Rondo have left in the tank? I mean, he's not getting any younger. He still seems to have a really high basketball IQ. Just got to make sure the guy stays healthy. I wonder if Gerald Dudley, Danny Green, and Troy Daniels, is that enough shooting for the Lakers? I mean, you mentioned LeBron championship years has always been great shooting around him. And we got to see a nice pickup in play from Quinn Cook as well. I mean, one thing I'll give Quinn Cook props for, when he played for the Warriors in the finals, no fear. I mean, that kid was coming off the bench, coming off screens, pulling three-pointers like he was Steph Curry. Definitely not afraid of the moment. So I just wonder if the Lakers have enough shooting. My number 3 team in the Western Conference is going to be, without a doubt, the Denver Nuggets. When you got Jamal Murray, like we talked about, when you have Nikola Jokic at center, if they can get anything from Michael Porter Jr., even just half of the hype, if you can play to half of that potential, this team has a chance to go from 3 to a 2 or 1 seed in the West. And like you said, he's kind of been battling injuries. Bol, man, from what I saw in limited minutes for Oregon, you're talking about a 7-foot guy that can handle, shoot threes like they're layups, can help you out on the boards, and then also play defense like his dad. So that's a really nice piece for the Nuggets. But the key, obviously, is health. So I have Denver at 3. At number 4, and I was thinking as you were talking about them, I was like, man, I should probably slide these guys down. But I'm going to stick with my pick. Portland Trailblazers is number 4. Lost a lot. You're definitely right. 7 guys off that roster from last year, replaced by 6 new guys. Some of the questions I have about the Blazers, even though I have them ranked at number 4, is size going to be an issue on the boards and on the outside. And the reason why I say size is because think about the Rockets. Harden, Westbrook, not small guards. But they're being defended by guys like CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, not the biggest guys in the league. And you talk about their inside presence besides Whiteside, could size be a problem with the Blazers? We talked about new starters for Portland. A guy that's going to have to get major minutes for the Portland Trailblazers is Zach Collins. Is he ready for prime time? I mean, you remember the 1 year the guy had as Gonzaga, he was the next coming of whoever. Has had a pretty steady progression in his NBA career. But I just wonder, is Zach Collins ready for this? What's going to be happening to him next as far as minutes? You also talked about Kent Bazemore, Hassan Whiteside. 2 of the guys I'm looking for in Portland to show me some things. I'm a big Anthony Simmons guy. I saw him at the NBA Summer League, played really, really well. And then being that I lived in Carolina for a couple of years, I got to know the team a lot. Nasir Little, drafted out of North Carolina, might be one of those guys that he might be a Devin Booker type, where in college you didn't really get to see how good he could be because of the offense and because of the team. So I wonder what he's going to bring. Number 5, Houston Rockets. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, great combination. My question for that team is, after those 2, who is it? You don't have PJ Tucker off the bench anymore. He's starting. You don't have Eric Gordon, former 6th man of the year, coming off the bench anymore. He's starting. So who is the Rockets bench? But I still believe in that duo, since that seems to be the theme of the season's duos. Harden and Westbrook are still a nasty 1-2 punch. Number 6, I'm coming with the Utah Jazz. Big fan. 50 wins last year. You add Mike Conley. You add Bogdanovic from the Pacers. Jeff Green, like you mentioned. And then your boy, another one of those Pat Hilwick favorites that he just has not seemed to hit his stride yet. And I wonder, is the 3rd team the charm? And that's Emmanuel Mudiay, who's also for the Utah Jazz. Can Quinn Snyder, can Mike Conley Jr. put their arms around this guy and show us the potential that we've been hearing about for a couple of years? So we'll have to see. Number 7, you and I talked about it just a few minutes ago. Go Spurs, go, man. I got San Antonio Spurs, number 7. They have young guards that excite me. We're talking about DeJounte Murray, Derek White. Don't forget about Lonnie Walker. Had a great start to the season, got injured. He's healthy now. And then you got the old warhorse, LaMarcus Aldridge. You still got DeMar DeRozan. You still got Rudy Gay. So I have the Spurs number 7. And then my number 8 team is the Golden State Warriors. And this is the reason why. Oh, Pat's face. We got to get video on the podcast. Why do I have the Warriors at 8? My first question, how does D'Angelo Russell fit in with this Golden State team? It's going to take a couple of games to figure that out. It's interesting. Draymond Green got paid. Okay, now what? I mean, you've been criticized or looked at as the underdog, and you're the man, the people. Well, now you got your money, and now there's no KD. There's no Klay Thompson for the foreseeable future. You got to step your game up and show people why you should be considered one of the best players in the NBA. My other question I have for Golden State is, when they do get Klay Thompson back, how long till he becomes the Klay we know? I mean, obviously, Game 6 Klay is not going to be there day one, but how many weeks, months, games take for him to get his flow back? But with all that being said, Steph Curry is the human cheat code. I'm with you 100%. I think this guy might have, I'll call a strange number. I'll say 30. I think he's going to have 30, 40-point games this season, maybe even more. I mean, this is the chance for him to really, because if you remember, when they were coming up and they were just the Baby Warriors and Splash Brothers, he was okay. But now he has reached full Thanos mode. He has all the Infinity Stones. And now that he knows it's all on him, he knows if he doesn't come out and show up, they're going to lose. Dude, we might see some historic stuff from Steph Curry. So that's my top 8. Clippers 1, Lakers 2, Nuggets 3, Blazers 4, Rockets 5, Jazz 6, Spurs at 7, and the Warriors at 8. And I'm with you on the Pelicans. I got the Pelicans on the outside looking in. And if Kristaps Porzingis can be the unicorn, Dallas Mavericks will be right in the running for it too.
I'm telling you, him and Luka Doncic, that's a scary duo right there. Big guys that can shoot, that can handle the ball. Dallas could have something on their hands,
and he can rebound. Mm-hmm. But I got to hear your reply, because when I said Clippers number 1 and I had my Warriors thing, I thought you were gonna fall off the chair.
Well, I mean, definitely. That's why you and I, over the years, we've always had different opinions on stuff. We share a lot of opinions on a lot of stuff, but I like it that you don't like exactly. Like, you don't agree with everything I say, and I don't necessarily agree with everything you say. I mean, I think that's what it's all about. I'm still looking at the Warriors at 8 in the 8th spot.
I can't believe you had them at 1. That's unbelievable.
I didn't have them at 1. I had them at 2.
I can't believe that. Top 3? How, bro? You think the Golden State Warriors are better than the Clippers and Lakers right now today? No way.
I may be reaching a little bit, but I still feel like Steph Curry is enough to lift them a lot. I also didn't even mention it, wasn't even thinking about it, but Glenn Robinson III plays for them. He's, he can score people. He's a little bit underrated. Obviously he's been kind of going around a couple different teams. Yeah. But hey, this might be the team. I mean, a lot of times players go from team to team and end up on the Warriors and have a breakout season.
I think Chris leaving the Suns and going to Golden State's great, because I think the Suns botched that guy's career.
Yeah. Well, they just what are they? I believe they cut McKinney.
Yep.
The guy that was playing for him last year in the finals. So they cut McKinney and signed Chris.
Yeah, I think that he is going to have a chance to bounce back, but I just don't think Golden State's top 3.
But Jordan Poole also is a guy that can score. I mean, that guy out of Michigan, I like him. I've watched a couple of the games in the preseason. I mean, it seems like every time I turn the TV on, it's the Lakers and the Warriors.
They played about 15 times so far this preseason.
I was like,
it's crazy.
How do y'all keep playing every night?
Switching courts.
Right.
Taxi! I'm going to Golden State. Taxi! I'm going to go to LA. It's crazy.
I'm sure sometimes it was, repeats and stuff like that, but still, it was like every time I turned on the TV, that's the only teams they were playing. And
no, you're right.
Sadly enough, the Warriors were getting blown out every game. Now, Steph Curry didn't play that many minutes in one game, but LeBron and Anthony Davis, they look like they're together. They look like they're seeing eye to eye. They look like they've got one one view in mind, and that's the championship. Because LeBron wants to get back, and AD wants to get his first.
Yeah.
So I really think that